Welcome to Get Real with Jack and Cindy, where the stories are polished and the advice isn't trendy. We talk houses, markets, and the life that happens in between. The wins, the screw-ups, and everything unseen.
Welcome back to Get Real with Jack and Cindy. I'm Cindy Morrison.
I'm Jack Wallace. We're glad you're back for part 2.
Yes, we sat down with hot topics last week.
Lots of hot topics.
Lots of great hot topics.
Hot topics.
Great hot topics. There we go. But we had so much great stuff. We're just dividing it up in 2. So you ready to begin with segment 2?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Topic number 3. Why? Oh, we already talked about that one. Seller feedback. So I actually just did a post about this.
So this is where the buyer gives the seller feedback.
Correct.
Yeah.
And generally it's going to be a buyer who is not buying your house for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
So we can get feedback for a seller's home in a variety of ways. We as an agent can call the buyer's agent. Hey, what did your clients think?
Mm-hmm.
There's also feedback forms.
Mm-hmm.
I always share those with the seller because I think it's important for them to know the feedback they're getting if we get them. A lot of times I'll call an agent and they just ghost me, which I don't understand in real estate.
I kind of do, though, because there's some people now that are nervous about giving...
That means you ghost people.
No, I don't. But there are people that are nervous about giving feedback for their client because if their client does like the house at all, they don't want to give away anything that would be... You can say things being innocent and then it become knowledge for the other side.
But even just a text, no, they're not interested. That's all
feedback.
That's all I'm looking for.
Or what I will say is, I don't say my client thinks this. I would say, the lack of maintenance on the roof is an issue,
mm-hmm.
and this is an issue that's going to be a problem. Now that's my opinion.
Sure.
Because I'm a real estate professional
mm-hmm.
who's going to houses and I'm trying to sell houses, so I can say, in my opinion, this is an issue you're going to have. And I usually know it's not going to be any big news but it might help them to tell their client that another agent said that.
Sure.
But to go into detail about what our client said can be problematic.
Especially if they decide later they want to put an offer in on that house.
Point.
Yeah, exactly. So, sorry, still this cough from being sick Christmas. Okay, so you get the feedback and you share it. A lot of things, it has too many stairs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, please, as a seller, do not get your feelings hurt over that. They just didn't realize it had so many stairs.
And again, there's nothing you can do about that.
Exactly. Yeah. But if you are continually getting the same feedback, it's priced too high, it's priced too high, it's priced too high. The roof is too old, the roof is too old, the roof is too old. You keep hearing these deferred maintenance or whatever it is. Then this really gives
Follow the pattern.
Yes, this really gives you as a seller some wonderful intel because your home is emotional to you as a seller. It is. Even if you say it's not, it is. You've had babies there or, whatever. So when you have somebody who has decided, okay, I'm not going to offer anything. Here is my allegedly biased feedback or unbiased feedback. Look at that. And if you're continually hearing the price is too high, your price might be too high. Mm-hmm. If you're continually hearing the carpet...
Let me rephrase that for you.
Yes.
Your price is too high. I mean, seriously, if you keep getting that, then your price is too high.
So look at that feedback as not somebody trying to hurt your feelings. Look at it as sometimes it is what it is, and sometimes it's constructive criticism.
Absolutely. But then again, if there's too many steps, I can't change the steps, but I can change the price, and I can change the price so someone will accept all those steps.
I love it.
And that's the, price 90% of the time. It's price. It really is. I mean, and maybe it's a price you're not willing to take because it doesn't work for you, and that's fine. But let's go back. We bring the house to the market, and what happens? The market brings the price because the market says too many steps for that price. I can do a little extra stepping.
Yeah.
It's worth it to me at that price to do that or to figure out how to fix that or to live with it. Now, there are some things that I always think it's funny whenever you go, you know, I cannot get this. You do the disclosures and everything's great and perfect, and then you go, man, I can't get this to work. Oh, you have to step on your left foot and then turn it with your right, and then lean into it. It's like, okay, we need to fix that because no one else is going to want to step on their left foot. But you've lived with it so long, and that's just how you do it. And so, like, you know, there's things that we just live with. Like, we just live with them. It's our house. And, you know, it's like, kind of like your partner. You know, there's things that they do that you're just like, that is so annoying, but it's them.
Yeah.
But
I love them.
Yeah, but I love them. So it's like your house the same way. It's like it's just kind of your house and you kind of deal with it. Or you have such a negative about it that, you know, that's the other thing too. Like sometimes it's really better for the seller not to be there whenever the buyers come because they will tell on themselves on stuff that doesn't really matter. Like
I almost had one of my sellers, it's a house where I'm usually there for showings, and I couldn't be there, but I'd already briefed the agent beforehand, let the seller know, and the seller was going to stay, and I said, please don't. Because more sellers undo
it's
a deal.
Difficult. Yeah.
Because, they don't realize that they just said, oh, yeah, we had meant to have that fixed 3 years ago, and we didn't, and almost everybody falls down the stairs when they step on that step.
Yeah.
Don't say that. So yes, it is best if you leave. So, and also so they can speak freely.
And again, you tend to give away too much information about your situation that gives them information about your situation
you're
they
desperate.
Can use. Yeah, like well, I've got to get out of here because you know the government's after me or whatever. Like you know all those things. Yeah, no, it's a very interesting thing. There is a reason why you have an agent. Let your agent do their work.
Let us do our professional job.
I think buyer feedback is really it's an interesting topic, and we're running into there's two schools right now. People thinking we shouldn't be able to. We may get to where we aren't able to ask or get it anymore. That's going to be interesting to see what happens. But I do think, like you said, it is so wonderful to find. Like there's times as an agent, there's things that surprise me. Like. Very rarely because you kind of know this and you do it all the time. But there are times when you go, wow, I wouldn't have see so many people having a problem with that.
Right.
And so it's really good for us too because it's like, wow, okay, so people really don't like that. Or if it's something really easy to change, like my favorite is whenever you had this listing that was like way overpriced and I shouldn't have taken it, but it was kind of a brother-in-law kind of deal. And I was like, you need to paint the front door. You need to paint the front door. Because it's great. Everything's great, but the front door just looks like you didn't finish it. And they would not do it. And so you have all the pictures taken. You have everything done. And then every single person who showed it or went online was like, it is so great, but that front door. And, and his whole point was, well, they can paint it whatever they want. But they won't.
Exactly.
And you don't get that chance to make that impression again. And then I've spent all the money on doing the photos and all. I have the
answer. So
AI.
Yes, I had this. I had a house that we did all the pictures, and then we talked about painting the front door, and they did, and it looked beautiful. I went in with AI and changed the color of the front door to reflect what it actually looks like now, because I was not spending another $500 to $1,000 on photos that had already been taken.
The new door over the old door,
and it looked fine. I wasn't taking anything out of context. I was showing them what they were going to see when they showed up.
But this one they wouldn't do it even during the listing, so it was still like the. It's just one of those things like you just go. It's so simple. It's just paint. It's just a door. Like But it's like some people are going to die on that mountain, and it's just like okay. And whenever you have something that again, like we talked about earlier, when you have something that's already on the cusp of being difficult. You don't want any difficulties.
No.
You just don't. And so there's something that's like, it's a sore thumb issue. Take care of it. Just take care of it. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's really, and I think it gives us the chance to not be saying over and over, this. It's like something the listing I had this weekend, it's an estate, selling it. So I'm not really insulting anybody, but like, the house, the windows are all fairly, updated windows, nice windows, but they're really dirty. And so I I've told the seller, that we need to have these windows cleaned, and they've got a million things going on.
Right.
But then this weekend I realized, everyone kept mentioning, well, I'd have to redo the windows, and I'm like, no, you don't. So it's like that's one of those things you say, look, I know it's $200 to have these windows cleaned, but the perception in people's head is they need all new windows when they don't.
And that's huge.
And that's huge. So $200 for that is such a good investment. And so that's kind of what we're talking about. Like, and it's taken a few times of having open houses to see that pattern evolve, that people were like, well, these windows really need to be redone. I'm like, there's not even a seal broken. It's just the sprinklers, the calcium deposits and all that. But like, it would make a humongous difference.
A small thing.
A small thing, yeah. And the perception of the expense that it's going to be would go way down. Like, we used to always say a $500 problem in a buyer's head is a $5,000 problem.
Right.
So if you can either fix it or have the bid of what it's going to cost, so they know, you've solved a lot of problems.
Like, if the carpet in your house is horrible, you should either the price should reflect that, or you should expect a carpet allowance, because a lot of people don't want you to carpet it. They may want to put in hardwood floors or whatever, but you.
Okay, but let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So what is your feeling? And I'm really asking this because I think it's an interesting. The carpet allowance thing I get, and I've done it a lot. Everybody has, but I always think even though you're picking the carpet for the next people, if you can do it, I always think it's better to just go ahead and do it. And here's why. Because I think when you put carpet allowance, it makes people think you haven't taken care of your stuff. You know what I mean? And I think, and you haven't, in a way, because your carpet is nasty.
Right.
But it's like, it kind of puts in their head, oh, that probably means the paint. It probably means things are outdated, blah, blah. And it really could be that you just have carpet that needs to be replaced and everything else is great. So I think in some ways, if I have a client will do it, I'd rather, and I know it's a pain to do that, but the other thing too is it's a pain to do that.
And I would prefer that answer of just let's give it its best foot forward the moment they walk in. But some sellers can't afford it.
Absolutely.
And so
then it's definitely the best thing to do.
If they can't, but just realize that you're going to hear that on your feedback. It's going to be an issue. So if you hit it up front, if you can't afford to replace it, then
I guess the other issue I have is if you have some money, you probably are going to end up giving a $5,000 carpet allowance, and they're probably going to take off $5,000 for the inconvenience of it. So suddenly you're probably talking at $10,000 on a $5,000 job.
True.
That's
Very
my
true.
point.
Yes.
Like, I think that's where you get into penny smart and pound foolish sometimes. It's like, and also, if it's inconvenient for you to do something, why in the world do you think that a buyer's going to jump up and down to get to do it? So if your first thought is, ugh, I don't want to have to deal with that, but you want somebody else to pay you money to deal with it, like, those are the times when I go ding, 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 ding. That's probably something that shouldn't be an issue that they have to deal with, or you better be willing to take a convenience fee.
And if the
you're getting charged
seller,
a convenience fee.
If the seller can afford it, yes, again.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can't. But also you have to remember, buyers are coming with higher interest rates. They're coming with big closing costs, higher insurance, higher property taxes. They may not be able to afford that either.
Yeah. And if you have dogs and kids and then it's
at least get the carpets clean.
But then you also might go, you know what? I've said this to people, they're willing to do it before, after they move out. If you want to take a day,
so it's
they'll
brand
have
new
the carpet
for you.
done. They'll do that. Here would be the allowance, but they don't want to put carpet in and have their dogs on your carpet.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
It's
right.
more of we want you to have a fresh start instead of us living here for 6 months and then you're really not getting new carpet. You're getting slightly used carpet. So there's ways to do that. I just think you have to always be conscious of that. I've said to people before, look, if they have taken immaculate care of the house, but they have dogs and small children, and the carpet it's carpet. And people are like, it is what it is. So, and to redo that now, and then you guys move in, you're going to move in on slightly used carpet and they don't want that. They'd rather you have all new. So
absolutely.
It's a way to slant that. Yeah.
Okay. We have one more topic
That was all about carpet. There's
two-
other things too.
two more things to talk about. But you brought up you know what? I'm going to hold this for our next podcast.
Ooh,
but
that must be good.
you brought up AI. Well, we brought up AI and photographs and stuff. So okay.
Oh, I love this. I know we talked about this. Yeah.
We're going to talk about that next week because we do have 2 more hot topics. But just know, AI is coming up.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, folks, we are once again looking at multiple offers, which is
good and bad. Good and
lot.
Bad.
Yeah, good and bad. But for instance, I've had a property that has been on the market a hot minute and literally had 2 offers in a day, and 2 amazing offers in a day because the right people happened to be looking for that house at that time.
And the mortgage rates have come to a level where the monthly suddenly aligns for more people at one time. It's not just like, oh my gosh, all of a sudden the stars. There's a lot of macro things happening that are making everybody's boat rise, and you better not sleep on stuff anymore.
And when you have multiple offers, so I had this a few years ago. We had a house that had been sitting there, all of a sudden got in multiple offers. And I called one of the agents. She called her client and said we were bluffing. And I'm like, I am calling and asking for your highest and best, and I don't bluff. That's not my job.
And don't bluff.
Yeah, that is not my job.
If you're an agent, do not bluff because it will bite you.
Oh yeah. So he decided I was bluffing, and then when the house went pending, they called me and said, "You were telling the truth." Yes, that's why I called and asked for your highest and best.
How dare you tell the truth? How dare you?
But don't bluff, because we just put in an offer on a property and somebody wanted to extend how long they were able to look at the offer because now they were getting in multiple offers. Guess what? It's still on the market and my buyer has moved on.
Here's the other thing. There are no set in stone rules when it comes to multiple offers.
No.
There's not. Everyone thinks that there's all these everybody has their idea of how it should go, but there's no real here's what the real protocol is. What does the seller want to do? That's the only protocol.
And sometimes closing earlier is more important than the price of the house. It's not always who gives the highest offer.
Right.
It may be that they just want a clean contract and
don't
want all the complications.
The one constant is I'm not allowed to tell you what the other offer is. Like that's standard. I shouldn't be even implying. I think if you go a little bit of this, that kind of, that's really not. It truly is like, just know somebody else is here now. Somebody else is here now, and everybody bring your highest and your best offer. That's the cleanest. But if the seller says, you know what, I don't care. I want that offer. And I've encouraged people to do that before because someone came in first. They gave you what you want, how you want it, when you want it, and they can withdraw that. But if you sign right now, we have a deal. So do you want to take the chance on that one disappearing for something out here that we may not even know if it comes in higher or not? So sometimes people get upset in that situation. Or the other thing too, this is another thing that's important to remember. You can be in the middle of negotiation with one person. This is very controversial. You can be in the middle of negotiation with somebody else. And you say, they come back and say, well then here's our negotiating, this is what we'll do. And you're in that trying to decide. And somebody else comes in and gives you exactly what you want. What is the protocol there?
In that case, don't you do what is best for your seller? You're required to bring all offers to your seller.
Right. But my point on that is it's an interesting thing because a lot of agents think we were in negotiation. There should never have been something else entered. My whole thing is that's not true. We have been in negotiation and you were telling us what you would do and somebody else came in not knowing, I have not given them any information of this, and said, hey, we love it. We want it. We'll take it here. And the seller goes, I want that. I don't want to take a chance on that. So let's say they're $10,000 more. does this person, just because they're in the middle of that negotiation, deserve to tie this one up when they haven't been willing to give the price the seller wants? I don't think they do. I mean, it's a really tricky. I'm not saying it's always right or fair, and it's but you can see where that gets. That's where real estate ethics is really difficult, because at the end of the day, we really have to defer to our seller because it's in their best interest, and they're the only ones who really know what their best interest is.
And here's a way to help you as well. And
is it cash or is it financing?
When are they going to close?
Are you going to have an appraisal or are you not going to have an appraisal? Is it going to be closing in 30 days or 40? Do you want repairs or no repairs? I mean, yeah, it's not just price.
Exactly. And this is where it's important. In Oklahoma, there is a box you can check when you're filling out the listing agreement. Do you want me to let other potential buyers know?
Always check yes.
Always check yes. But do you want me to let the other buyer's agents know there are other offers? If they have checked yes, always check yes. It's going to be in the seller's favor. But I mean, I guess I can't say 100% of the time, but generally. Then
now in that situation, if they've checked yes, you do have to go back to the people you're in negotiation with and tell them, because you have said, and they have said, we will divulge. So you have to tell everybody, including the person who's in the process. But what you can go back and say is, they're back in, but they got an offer that they're taking.
Bring your highest and best by 5 o'clock tonight.
But even that's tricky, because maybe they don't want you to bring your highest and best, because they're saying, oh no, we're good. We want that. Take it.
Then if that's what the seller decides, that's what the seller decides.
I mean, because I had that happen a lot, where the seller's like, no, I'm not gonna mess with them because they're giving me what I want. These other people are playing a game with me.
Well, at the end of you're always supposed to put a termination of when the contract ends.
And a lot of people still don't.
Seeing a lot of contracts right now that it's not on there. So we're negotiating back and forth without any deadline. You need to remember, as a buyer, again, somebody can come in and bring a contract the longer you put that out there. So yes, you do want to put a termination date of when you hope all of the negotiations are going to be worked out, but don't put it 4 days from now, because there's a whole lot that can happen between now and 4 days.
Yeah, it's tricky. And I think it's really, because then it's like if somebody has it floating and then 2 months later they sign it and say, okay, we'll take it. And it didn't have a termination. It is a little bit tricky. But the truth of the matter is that termination is really set for that. It's just stopping the offer timeline. It's in other words saying, if you don't do it in 2 days, you can't come back and sign, and then we have it. That's not like a legally binding contract.
Right.
So if your signature is after that date, it doesn't really add up, and it wouldn't hold up in a court of law.
Unless you both decide, okay,
it's really protecting the buyer from getting caught up in being on the hook for something that they don't want to be on the hook anymore. So when you're writing an offer, you should make sure you've got that in there for your buyer, because it does protect them from getting, I mean, they probably wouldn't win if somebody did that, but it is like, well, wait, you signed here. They signed here.
Right.
That's a contract.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
Okay, so our last one is, agent burnout. So
I'm out of here.
It is really hard. If you have a team, you're exhausted because you're training people and getting leads for them. If you're a solo agent, which most of us are, it's exhausting because you're the driver, you're the janitor, you're the negotiator, you're the everything. You're the admin. So one of the things that I'm offering coming up in the second week of March is a free seminar called Branded, Booked, Banked. And it's part of a program that I'm launching called From Scroll to Sold.
Cool.
So from scroll, people scrolling through social media, how do you turn that into sales?
Cool.
So anyway, but it's all about, if you're burned out, how do you do more of the numbers that you want to do, whatever that number is, without hiring a whole team, without burnout, without going crazy. the list goes on and
Well,
on.
that's like we talked about last year. I really took. I mean, last year I just took it. I did what came to me and not much more because I had just gone for so many years,
Hmm.
and I had to figure out what I wanted.
Hmm.
I mean, I knew I wanted to stay in real estate, and I knew that but like the branding of, this phase of my life and this part of me, and like and all that. So I think it's really relevant right now. Like, and I think that it's an interesting thing, like to actually be thoughtful in because I'd always been in a team, so it was always my brand was always this team, right? And
Right.
then
And
that
you
was
can kind of switch off because it was
yeah.
the two
Oh,
of
that
you.
was great. And then for about 2 or 3 years, I was still kind of everyone knew me as that entity, and still, even though it was just me. So then it was like this last year was more about okay, I'm gonna have to figure out what I want for me and who I am and
Hmm.
what's naturally for me. And so I stepped back a little bit and I took some time,
Hmm.
and it was a slower market in general, so it was kind of a good time to kind of do that. But it's like now I know what I want and I'm ready to go, and it's like energized. So sometimes too, I think people have this tendency to think you're either all in or you're completely out, and there's no in between. And I think, you know, you're going to have ebb and flow with your life, right? And your
Absolutely.
career. So,
Absolutely. And I had that when I moved my mom here from Lubbock. The process of getting her packed up, getting her moved here, figuring out about the dementia and the Alzheimer's. I mean, there just was a lot in that year. So it wasn't the production that I had hoped for, but it was the production I could do without going crazy.
absolutely.
So, and that's what this program is about, the branded, booked, banked, looking at how strong is your brand, because there are a lot of people, who are talking about AI replacing agents, and we talked about that last week in Portugal. They've had an AI real estate agent. But I really do believe it is those agents with a really strong personal brand,
Yeah.
who stand out for why they are different and why they're going to attract those best clients and repel those ones that aren't your best clients.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does that branding look like? We actually have a branding blueprint. We're going to look at social media, and we're going to look at systems that through AI that can really help you not only get branded, but also get booked, get those appointments, and actually get the listing if it's a listing or a meeting with a buyer, so you can bank the money.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too because it's like you also have to look at who you are, where you are, when you are. And like, when you're younger in this business, the proof of work is so important because people need to know you're doing it and you're in it, and that you're something, that they should take a chance using. Then when you get to do it like as many years as we've done it, it's a different thing because you're branding your experience, but then you have to brand also that you are up to date,
Uh-huh.
like we keep talking about.
And not left behind.
Yeah, so
Yep.
and that's where AI is kind of the democratization of those two things.
Mm-hmm.
And just even like you were saying, the burnout. Part of the burnout is just all the stuff that was so tedious, and it keeps you from being in front of people and doing what we love, which is
Mm-hmm.
selling and putting people in houses, or that's. And so I think AI has been such a great way to redo that and to relook at that
And especially with
and leverage it.
AI agents, and I don't mean AI real estate agents, I mean using AI as really your virtual assistant.
Mhm.
So, we're lucky enough, we're with a local family owned brokerage that once you hit a certain level, they pay for an admin to help you, which I think is such a gift and such a blessing. But I'm trying to get
They're conscious of trying to keep you from burnout.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even doing things like, delivering a sign or a key box or contracts, or the AI can't do that.
Yeah.
But there are things that AI can do that will help you. And then also, so how you avoid burnout, because let's face it, people can reach us 24 hours a day and they expect to speak with us 24 hours a day. So how to avoid that burnout of having the help where you can get it and having AI help you with systems. And then, the booked part, how can you do this without buying leads? Because I'm a big believer in not buying leads.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing if I'm going to pay somebody a referral fee because of a sure thing that they have given me, and once it closes, they will get a referral fee that is different than buying leads. And without, hiring a team, without burnout, without buying leads. So that's what Branded Booked Banked is about. Again, it is a free event. We'll have more information coming out about it, but I'm really
It's
excited.
exciting. Yeah, it's very
This
fun.
has been almost 8 months in the making of
That's
launching
awesome.
from Scroll to Sold, and there's a couple of things we're going to be doing in the future.
It's very exciting.
So,
And, I think we're both just at the place where we just really we like helping, and that's helping the consumer. It's helping other agents. It's helping our business, and it's like, and I think we're both so excited about the technology. I think that's the thing that so people are missing a boat because it's not going to not happen.
Yeah,
it's happening.
It's sort of
happening.
like the
It's okay.
smartphone.
Yeah.
It's not a fad. It's here to stay to only get stronger.
Yeah. No, for me it's really been an energizing thing for me because it's just, and that's also like, I was at my office every day last year. I was doing a lot because I was retraining, refiguring out all those things. So it's like, hitting the ground running this year because it's like, okay, now my agents are all set up. I'm like figuring out, all those things. And what's crazy is how much we can do here. Like how much you have constantly with you. It's nuts. It's
Absolutely.
really nuts. So, yeah.
Well, and I think that's one thing with the closing crew. Maybe this kind of wraps everything up is, we started this mentoring group called the Closing Crew, or whether it's from Scroll to Sold, whatever it may be. You don't have to be a brand new agent to take advantage of getting re-energized,
Oh,
of
absolutely.
getting, if you've been through a difficult time in your life, if you've been through a divorce, or whatever it may be.
Which is why I've been so honest about all this, because I want people to know, like, this last year I've been very honest about where I am and what I'm doing, because it's like, I don't know why we have to all act like everything is just, everything's just like it's always been. Everything, like, no, it's not. Your life changes. You have, and we get to consciously choose what we want to do. Like when you're younger, you have different goals. You do. You have different goals, different wants, different desires. Like, I mean, it's so great to go in, like what you're talking about, and really consciously choose what your brand is and how it represents you. And
how hard you want to work. Whatever that number may be, how do you achieve that and feel great about that?
Right.
And if you want to change that number later, that's great. But we really believe there's enough success for everyone. That's why we do the podcast. That's why we do the Closing Crew. That's why we're starting this coaching. It's all about making a difference in this world.
Absolutely.
And I think, with my mom's dementia, I've really realized that. And that's always been my heart. But I think in the last 3 years, that's become really important, because once you leave this earth, you leave this earth.
Yeah. And it's hard. I mean, I know I have failed people through the years.
Well, that's going to happen. It's called
life.
life.
Because I've been so caught up in what I'm doing for so many years that, like, you're just you're in exhaustion. And so then and I'm an introvert. So then when you finally get kind of at that downtime, I can just go into, like, I'm just going to be home with my dogs, watching TV and just do my thing. And it's like you let down. So it's like finding that balance.
Yeah.
And
I think that's why we're so good together, because you are like cool as the other side of the pillow. Like you rarely get upset.
I have a really long fuse and a huge bomb.
I'm so glad I've not seen that bomb, just so you know. But
it very rarely happens, but when it does, it's huge. and then it's over.
But I'm high energy. But when I have a downtime, I'm like, okay, I'm checking out for the day or checking out for the weekend or whatever it is, and that's how I recharge my batteries to come back up. So we're
knowing who you are and what does that is so important, and knowing it's okay, it changes.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to be a lot more energized by people than I am now. Like,
but you're energized by me, I know.
Absolutely, and I still love people, but I want to continue to love them. So I keep a healthy distance sometimes, because it's good to have that. I don't know. It's life is so fun. But it's like, and even some of my friends, I've seen them change in the last 5 to 10 years, and it's been so fun to watch them, and none of us kind of realize it's happening. All of a sudden they go, oh my God, this is so weird. I'm like, I've been noticing that for a long time. So it's interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so next week we're going to talk about AI when it comes to real estate, as far as videos and pictures and all the things.
Yeah.
Sorry,
My favorite subject.
Yeah. but when I realized when we were talking about that earlier, I'm like, that makes a great podcast. We'll just do that next week. Sorry to make the decision.
Oh, no. That's okay.
Awesome. Well, everybody have a great week.
Thank you.
Welcome to Get Real with Jack and Cindy, where the stories are polished and the advice isn't trendy. We talk houses, markets, and the life that happens in between. The wins, the screw ups, and everything unseen.